Hey, it's Shirley B, and I believe we all have the power to change our lives for the better. And my goal is to help you believe and know that. Your mindset is your power, and change can sometimes feel overwhelming. So instead of focusing on all the huge things that you may feel you need to do in life, let's instead focus on small mindset shifts, small actions that anyone can take, so that little by little and piece by piece, you will change your life. Today, I want to talk about consistency, why it's so important, how to get consistent with your habits, and how to keep consistency. This podcast is about making small changes and how those small changes might be easier and quicker to make than trying to completely overhaul your life. But in order for those small changes to have an impact, sometimes it's not just one change, but it's also one that is consistent, that you make the commitment to yourself to do something to further your life. Or maybe it's that you commit to stop doing something that will be the positive change you need. But either way, the decision to change is just the start. Some would say that's the hardest part, to actually figure out what you need to do or don't do and make that decision. I would say that's the easier part, because our bodies and minds know intuitively what we need. Deep down, we all know what we need, but sometimes it takes a bit to allow it to surface. We might not yet be ready to deal with what we know we have to do. Maybe you need to pull money together for that decision. Maybe you need to get more emotionally grounded to help make that decision and change, and that's okay. You're here, and that's a start. Once you allow that, though, I think the harder part and the next step is the doing of that decision, bringing it to life. And then the hardest part of all is committing to ourselves to keep that change going. We don't seem to have a problem committing to our jobs, committing to our families, to our partner, but when it comes to committing to ourselves, we seem to easily let that slide, where we wouldn't if we knew our coworkers or our kids needed us. But you need you. So let's say you've made the decision to change, and you're here trying to figure out the next step, and that's great. Give yourself a pat on the back for that. But what do you do next? Why can't you get that decision to move towards the actual act of doing or keep doing? Well, change is never usually easy. And if it was, you wouldn't need to listen to this podcast, and you would have already made the change you need. So why is change so hard for all of us? It's because we crave the comfort of patterns and repetition. It's how our brains are built. It's just the human way. And even if the pattern is not good for us, like thinking or speaking negatively to ourselves, it's still what we know. It's what we've given space to. It's what we've grown into. And it's what we always easily fall back into. When you've been doing it for so long, and for many of us, maybe you've learned this since you were very young, and for whatever reason that made you feel those negative thoughts in the first place, it's still the repetitive pattern and story we keep feeding ourselves. It definitely doesn't make you feel good and shouldn't bring you comfort, but it's the pattern of the story we've told ourselves for years and decades, and it's too hard sometimes to break that pattern, so we fall back into the comfort of the discomfort. Until that one day, maybe today, when the pain of change is less than the pain of staying the same. The discomfort of what you have felt and told yourself for so long becomes too unbearable. Or maybe you have to make this change to fight for your life, physically or mentally. Maybe that's when you decide to make a change. But the only way it becomes truly life changing is with consistency. So, how do you do that? How do you become consistent with this new way? Well, you just do it. It sounds so simple, right? As Nike says, just do it. But that's as simple as it gets. You do it, and then you keep doing it. Or you don't do it, and you keep not doing it if you're trying to stop something. Now, just because the decision and what you need to actually do might be simple, that doesn't mean it's simple for you to make it happen. I mean, if you made the decision to stop smoking, you just stop smoking, right? Or if you decide you want to be healthier, you just eat healthier foods, right? Of course not. It's not as easy as we all know. And while the act of what you have to do is simple, and the doing may logically be simple, emotionally, it's not so much. So, one of the ways that you can make it stick is to find your why. Why are you trying to do something or stop doing something? Why is it so important to you? And why now? And as you're thinking of this, don't beat yourself up that you haven't made the change yet, but figure out the importance and why now. And not just the surface why, because those initial responses when you ask yourself why are usually what we feel we should do based on society or those around us. You need to find the deeper why do you need it for you? So if I think I want to stop smoking or eat better because I want to be healthier, well, why? Well, the obvious is I want to live longer. Well, why? I want to be around for my family and friends. Well, why? I want to show more love. I want to get more love. And I want to have a deeper impact in my life. Now, that may be more important and concrete to you. So go as deep as you can to find not just the surface why, not the because you should why, but find the deep down because you must why. So let me tell you a story of someone I know and their why, and also show you how one decision to change can have a ripple effect on those around us. This person was given a bad medical diagnosis last year of congestive heart failure, with not many years to live unless they changed their life drastically. Now, this wasn't somebody in their 70s. This was someone in their 50s, so still had a lot of life left to live. Well, this person certainly had their why. I mean, it was life or death. They didn't need to go much deeper. But so many would still struggle with the changes that they needed to do and give up even if a doctor tells them how important it is, because it's such a long haul and such a difficult thing to do. But this person did not. They changed how and what they ate. They began moving. Now, this is a person who needed assistance to walk, so this was not someone who just decided to go to the gym. This was truly the smallest and babiest of steps that you could take to get moving. So they started moving, and they started swimming because it was probably one of the few ways to move that they could do with little impact and pain to their joints. And though they needed help even getting into the pool for the first time, they kept at it. And they will be the first to tell you that this was probably the most difficult thing that they've ever done. To get up every morning moving and living in a completely different way than how they had been for so long. And I'm sure there were days when even getting up felt like too much, and trying to see so far down the road felt impossible to do. So they had to stop looking that far down the road and just take it day by day. And even though they may have had bad days where they felt they failed, maybe they didn't eat right, maybe they didn't push themselves to swim, that is not a failure. It was not a bad day. It was not a great day. It was just a day. A day of eating well and exercising is a day they found their strength. And a day of not doing those things is just a day where maybe they treated themselves with extra love and kindness and knew that tomorrow could be another one of those days of strength. I know they had family and friends to help support them, to cheer them on, to gently nudge them when they needed it. But those people were not living it day to day, and that's where the work and commitment to yourself comes in. Now, fast forward a year later, and this person has not only lost half an adult in weight, but they can now swim over 50 laps at a time, and their heart is now within normal range. And now think of the ripple effect and impact that this one person's decision to change may have caused. Never mind that this person will likely live a long and healthy life with their friends and family, and they've not only become an inspiration for those that know them, but think of the ripples with their swim coach that they just met. Imagine, like many of us, that this swim coach is in a job they go to every day. It gets old. Maybe they begin to wonder if they're even making a difference and if this is truly their life purpose. They then get to play such an amazing role in this person's life journey to heal themselves physically as well as emotionally. And maybe the swim coach now sees the impact they've had. They can see the physical transformation as well as the mental changes in this person's outlook. And now maybe this swim coach is feeling energized and sharing that energy with other clients who also become motivated based on that energy. How beautiful is that? It's truly the butterfly effect that you have no idea how your change, your resolve, your movements, and your commitment to yourself affect others without even realizing it. But they see it. Now, you should never try to change just for someone else. It won't stick. The only one that you can change for is yourself. You might start by trying to feel like you have to prove to someone what you can or can't do, but it has to be important to you. It has to be important to your why, to prove to your own self through your own self love. That's when the change will take hold fully. So you really need to figure out your why and ensure it's truly for you, for your own journey. So, do you have your decision or change yet? Maybe you know what it is that you need to do or not do. Or maybe you've made your decision, but maybe you're just not yet ready to take the leap and make change, and that's okay. Once you have an idea of what that change needs to be, maybe all you do is you just write it down on a piece of paper. Write down what your decision is or what it will be, and then keep asking yourself why until you get to that real deeper why. And then under your decision, write down that deeper why and just read both every day. Start your consistency just by reading your change and your why to keep reinforcing the importance of it and create the commitment to yourself. Maybe you put it on your fridge. Maybe you put it by your bed so you see it first thing in the morning. Or maybe you don't want anybody to see it yet and you just put it in your makeup drawer. And maybe all you do next is just write down little changes that might help support that change and put them on a sticky note that can help you get there. And you just keep adding thoughts and sticky notes to your paper. And then when you're ready, you take one of those sticky notes and you do it for a week. Maybe you do it for 2 weeks, maybe 4, until you're ready to take off another sticky note. There's no timeline. You'll hear that you need to do something for 28 days straight or for 6 weeks to make a habit. And yes, that's true. But give yourself some grace as you try to get started. It's a journey, not a race. You don't need to lose half a human or swim 50 laps. For example, you may decide the one small change is you want to be healthier, and one sticky note could be just adding an extra fruit or vegetable a day. It could be drinking one less soda a day. It could be walking around one block each day. Or maybe your change is to make more time for yourself. So a sticky note could be you set your alarm 15 minutes earlier, but you commit to only doing something during that time that feeds your soul. You read a little, you color, you sit on your porch with your coffee. Or you leave work and stop at a parking lot for 15 minutes and just listen to music before you head home. So remember, you create consistency by doing it. Whatever the it is, however little it is, just do something every day that helps you move forward, even if that's just to read aloud and reinforce what you're trying to do and why. Your brain will slowly take hold of what you're saying, and if you get sidetracked from your goal, as you inevitably will, don't focus on that you didn't eat that extra vegetable, that you didn't take that extra 15 minutes for yourself. Instead, give yourself some grace and kindness and know that tomorrow is another day. And each day you get to keep going on your journey. You get to keep reinforcing your love and commitment to yourself. And you will find that all these little consistent changes will start to domino, and you may find more positive changes even easier. So keep going, keep doing it. I know you can, and you will soon know you can, little by little and piece by piece. This podcast is based on my own life experiences. I'm not a therapist, a psychologist, psychiatrist, or any other licensed medical professional. Please share this podcast with anyone you think needs to hear this so that we all move forward, little by little and piece by piece. And thank you, Purple Planet, for sharing your music.